I was selling real estate for a builder here in Arizona called KB Homes, which at the time they were the second largest builder in the world. And my mom, who reconnected with a long-lost cousin at a family reunion a couple of years earlier, a cousin that she had lost contact with for 30 years, had got into XanGo and contacted her and said, do you want to do a network marketing business with me? If you're serious about it, I'll mentor you and I'll coach you. And 30 years earlier, my mom, Carolyn, she had told this cousin of hers, when he approached her about Big A, to get into the Big A with him, she said, well, why don't you just go get a real job? And that's what she did. And he went on to become one of the best network marketers in the world. And so when he approached her with this, she wasn't about to tell him to go get a real job, right? So anyhow, she got into XanGo, and I just thought, oh, man, my mom got talked into one of those things by, her rich cousin, long-lost cousin. And so after a couple of months when she continued to do it, I was really surprised she stayed with it. However, my wife, Lindsay, and I, we signed up to consume the product, and at that time it was just the juice. And our son had great results with the product, with his asthma and with eczema. And so, we became intrigued on the product side. I had good results with ibuprofen, kind of an ibuprofen habit from sports injuries, and an operation on my shoulder and lower back pain. And my wife had great results with her allergies. So we liked the product, but we didn't think the business was real. And then finally I started doing some diligence with the objective of showing my mom that she shouldn't waste any more time in this, one of those things. And I thought I'd find some negative things from some credible sources, like Robert Kiyosaki, by the way, and show her that she's wasting her time. And I found the contrary. The negative things that I found were from uncredible sources, and I can only find positive things from people like Robert Kiyosaki. And I thought, why do I think that I know more than the wealthiest people in the world? And just decided to, change who I listen to. And so agreed to talk to a man who ultimately became my close mentor, my mom's cousin, Bob Schmidt. And, that was what my mom wanted me to do, was communicate with him. And that's how it works. And, he showed me why this industry, why XanGo, and ultimately how to do it and what it all meant to my family and I. And so we just went to work. And 3 years later, we made a $1 Million Club member. That's it. The rest is history, Ryan. We've had a blast ever since.
I love it. And now part of the multi-million-dollar club members. But I think sometimes people look at that and they could say, okay, well, timing. Tommy recognized timing, got in at the right time, got at the right moment. But there was a lot of people that got in either before or during or after you as well that didn't have that. And that's really what I want to highlight this morning on the Get Amped call, is about talking about mentorship, talking about coaching, talking about, yes, taking the advantage or the ability of your skills, but learning, there's a difference between talent and skills. And I truly believe that talent is something that you're born with, talent is something that you have, but then I also believe that you can teach anybody who's coachable and willing and dedicated the right skills to be successful at anything, right? And so,
no doubt.
So talk about that, if you would, just a little bit, because you mentioned Bob Schmidt, you mentioned Sandy Ned Cohen, you mentioned your mom. You've had a lot of great mentors in your life who have really, that have really, helped you and taught you. But the number one thing, I believe, the reason why they've helped you so much is because you have been so coachable.
Well, you're exactly right. In terms of helping people gain the skill sets, really someone having the skill sets that it takes to build this business, being a great communicator, learning, to be a good recruiter, a good presenter, a good promoter, and so forth. These are all skill sets that we can learn. And that certainly isn't the top of the list when I'm looking for people to join my organization. Because, like you said, we can teach those if they're teachable. So what Bob told my mom and I when we first started, and here's a man who had gone to the top of every, company he had been with, and XanGo was his fourth in 33 years. And so he knew what he was talking about. He knew how to analyze. He knew how to select the companies and ask the hard questions, and he certainly knew how to mentor people and help them become, successful, provided they did their part. And he was very specific, and we all are too, what it takes to build this. And the new person's part is to be coachable, and everybody thinks they are, and to treat this like a real business. And frankly, I wasn't coachable for the first year. And Bob called me out on it. And, I either had to make the changes because there's only 4 reasons that people don't reach all their financial objectives, in this industry. And I know that's a sweeping statement, but if you think about anybody that doesn't reach their financial objectives, it's one or more of these 4 reasons. 1, the company fails. Well, we've certainly got that covered. 2, the team fails them. And I've always found it interesting if an upline person quits. Some people will quit if their upline quits and thinking, maybe they know something I don't know. But my attitude would be, well, this shows how little faith they had in me. And, you can take on an attitude of if one quits, you sponsor 2. And that's an attitude that I think everybody should have. But anyhow, the 3rd reason is someone's uncoachable. And I've just found if they're uncoachable, they're going to crash and burn. There's nothing you can do about it. And the 4th is they're inconsistent or they quit. And if you're coachable, and if we treat this like a business, so that was the second half of what we need to do to be successful at this. And there's really no risk in network marketing. And so it's hard to imagine that, you can, if you're a big enough thinker and if you want to, that you can make, if you can make, we were sitting with somebody yesterday, Ryan, that the other night at dinner, maybe it was the night before, the night before, you and I, and he wants to make $1 million a month in the industry. And so think about that. And I said, yeah, if you can make $250,000, you can make $1 million. He goes, if you can make $2.50, you can make $1 million. And he's exactly right. So treat it like you invested, Bob used to say, treat it like you invested $1 million into the business. Now you'd have a risk. You'd have a payment to make every month. You'd be highly coachable and highly motivated. And what's strange is that people spend that kind of money. I don't know of a business that you can get into for $500,000 that has near the upside economic potential that our business has. Not only that, the time freedom that the type of money allows you, the geographic freedom, because of its residual nature. And here, we're into it for as low as a couple $100. So it's hard to treat it like a real business for some people when they have the attitude easy in, easy out. So learn to treat it like a real business and be highly coachable and have lots of mentors. And we literally are unlimited in our potential just by our imaginations.
I love it. I absolutely love that. So just to recap, those 4 things are the company fails, the team fails, not being coachable, and the 4th one was what, Tommy?
Is that they're just inconsistent or they quit. And anytime we're dealing with something, anytime we're dealing with something that requires the disciplines to come along with delayed gratification, and really anything of any significance in life requires the grueling discipline of delayed gratification. Because we're talking about what you become in the process. And Kiyosaki talked about this from the stage. We become wealthy people. That's the mentorship that comes with XanGo. Being a XanGo builder turns us into a wealthy people. I listen to Rocky Shumway and I look at him, and the economic wealth isn't there yet of nearly what he wants to accomplish and what he will accomplish if he stays the course. But he's becoming a wealthy person. And that's what it's all about. It's about what we become in the process. And I was called out on that when I first started XanGo by Bob. And I remember thinking, well, it was easy for him to say he already is wealthy. But I'm here to tell you that I had a defining moment at the 3rd year in the business. And it really is what we become in the process. Because that's applicable to everything that we do moving forward and how we affect the world. And the objective is to make the world a better place. And that's what XanGo is doing.
Love it. Absolutely love that. Wow, I'm getting a ton of great nuggets, and I know that everybody else is as well, to help their businesses and help them with their teams. And and aspects of it. So Tommy, you've been with the company now for a decade.
12 years.
You've seen a lot. What's that? 12 years.
Actually, 12. Yeah.
Nice.
Time really does
nice.
fly when you're having fun.
Nice. So you've got a 12-year degree in economics now with XanGo. What is the one thing? Because I know that a lot of times people, there's so many different sales tactics in this industry. Startups will use. You've got to get on the ground floor. Momentum phases, plateau phases. There's so many different sales tactics that people will use. That you and I were talking the other night about the timing with XanGo now, and that we believe that the people that are in and the people who join now is going to really create that next wave of personal economic wealth and the opportunity to be able to have that. And that we talked about that there's no better time to be a part of XanGo than right now, and being able to dig in. And the people who actually really dig in now and really take advantage of that are going to be the ones that are, the ones that are going to create that next wave. And with that, we've seen a lot of people coming on board for brand new spaces. We've seen a lot of people who, for whatever reason, like me, when saw if there was greener pastures and have come home, and just that opportunity. What makes you so excited about XanGo today, Tommy, as when you started 12 years ago?
That is such a loaded question, Ryan, but let me do my best to simplify it. And you mentioned earlier in the call that, he recognized good timing. Listen, I didn't know how to recognize anything as it related to network marketing 12 years ago. However, I was plugged into somebody who did know how to. And that, you hear Sandy Cohen, and I heard other leaders jumping on this call, and there's a reason, that I'm up at 7:30 on a Saturday. I know that doesn't sound very early to some people, but I don't normally get up at 7:30 on a Saturday. And that has to do with timing and understanding it this time around. A lot of people that had been in network marketing for a long time, or in the early XanGo days, they would say, I kept striking out. I've been in the industry 15, 20 years plus, and they kept striking out because they didn't know how to analyze the companies. They didn't know how to ask the hard questions or to assess. But they said, you know what, this time I picked a picker, meaning they followed somebody and believed in somebody who had a track record of understanding how to assess and how to ask the hard questions. And so when the right people are at the helm of the company, the opportunity will always grow. The company will always grow. Yes, it will go in cycles. Everything does. It's impossible for any type of business to never stop cycling. But again, if the right people are at the helm, and we certainly have that. And, that's you're part of that, Ryan, and we're thankful for you. But then the opportunity always grows because the company growing ultimately is our opportunity, expansion in terms of product offering, penetrating markets and so forth. So it's interesting when you study the cycles of network marketing. And, I'm a student. I've become a student, and I was taught to do that. And if you look at the companies, you use the term legacy companies a lot, Ryan. You like that term. And if you look at the legacy companies, every single one of them, not some of them, but their growth curves, their S curves. I think Glade Paulson used the term, he likes S curves, multiple S curves. And they have these S curves, these growth curves, and the second one is always 3 to 5 times bigger than the first one. And I asked Bob Schmidt a couple of months before he passed how come that was, and he shared with me, the fact that you've got the Carolyn Johnsons and the Cohens and the Richard O'Briens and I heard John and Gina Jurowitz, new $1 Million Club members. Congratulations, you guys. But you've got these pioneers, these people who really become leaders that are in the game and understand the cycles. And boy, they work the cycles. And it's all been put in place. What's happening right now isn't just because, Eris just launched. Well, I'm here to tell you, Eris has a lot to do with it, but it's really the coming to fruition of 2 years of things that have been going on behind the scene. This isn't happening by accident. So, and the leaders understand that because they know how to assess it, where, again, in the past, I didn't know how. It was dumb luck. But here it's all come to a head, and with all of the conviction, all of the confidence, all of the passion, the enthusiasm, and the belief that I could possibly get through on this call, this is it. This is it. We'll be on like the pioneer phase of this next big growth curve. And that's why I'm I'm always excited. I'm just passionate. If I can't do something with passion, I'm not interested. I'll go do something else. But the reason I was in Utah the last couple of days is because, I'm shaking the trees. We've got people that have been in this industry for a long time that I'm calling that I haven't even called before, and good friends that have never even been in the industry that I haven't called, recently, because I just didn't feel like the timing was right for us to, we have to work harder to accomplish the same thing. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. However, there's a few of my friends that their time is so limited, and I know, usually the reason why somebody can't do it is exactly why they need to do it. How long do they want time to be an issue? But I know that they're going to be able to accomplish so much over the next 3-5 years that they could literally expect, not hope, expect, provided they're coachable and treated like a business, they can expect to be set for life. And I know that sounds crazy, but for all intents and purposes, my mom did that. And we did that. And it's not that the money will be in place, because even if you make a couple million, and I don't know how big you think, but you're on this call, and so if you don't want to live your life on that, however, the people are in place. We lost Bob Schmidt 7 years ago in an accident. Barbara Schmidt, one of my mentors in my team, a family member of mine, is doing quite well from what they built together in 5 years. And Barbara still builds the business too, but think about the fact that we're building an asset. We're building something that's ours, that we can literally be paid on with a legacy company for the rest of our lives. And most businesses, it's you against the world, because you're the asset. So people will invest in a brick and mortar or traditional type business, their life savings, risk their credit, their capital. And they can never sell it for much. They can never get away from it. Dr. de Guzman has an incredible no leverage as a surgeon. And he got hurt in an accident, and he couldn't operate on people. And the overhead continued, the income stopped. So treat this like a real business, and you build an asset where you aren't the asset. So these XanGo businesses are willable, giftable, sellable. And the downline that you build, the worldwide network of consumers and customers and builders and the leaders that you develop, that's the asset. That's what you can sell. That's what we can leave to our children and our grandchildren. But now's the time, without a doubt.
I absolutely love it. I really think that that's a perfect note to end on with our Get Amped call, because I'm definitely amped up. I'm excited about it. And I agree with you. When we start talking about the S-curves and the second one being bigger than the first one, and that's why I would say third or fourth, fifth. Yes, absolutely. The reality is that I truly believe that what we're going to do in the next 12 years will be 3 to 4 times more than what we did in the last 13 years. And I think sometimes people are like, well, okay, that's great for the company, but what about me? But it is you. That's the point. That is you. It's the people, because XanGo's compensation plan, not only one of the richest in the industry, but it's a 50-50 partnership. And that, Tommy, is I'm very, very grateful, very, very blessed to be a 50-50 partner with you.
And if I could say something else on that, everybody on this call, I heard people calling in from Denmark. Wow. Everyone on this call is part of the plan. And I didn't understand that at the beginning. But wherever we're at, that's where we start. We're building a story that we're going to give people. You're going to build your own story together with your team that you'll be giving people 10, 12 years from now that aren't even old enough to build the business yet. Since it's a storyteller's business, think about the fact that my people a lot of people on my team tell my story to help give people the belief that this is a real business and something they can do, and then they humanize it by getting them on the Get Amped call, by plugging them into, a three-way phone call or a Skype or an Uvu or a local meeting. And so 12 years ago, I didn't realize, and my mom didn't realize, that we were creating a story that we were going to be giving, mentorship by 30ers and be 30ers. That's what that's what it really is, mentorship before 30. To tell, people that weren't even old enough to consider building the business, like my son is 14. And so we're creating the stories that people will be telling for, in a decade from now. And if you really understand the power of that and the responsibility and what it can do to help people change their lives, Bob Schmidt's story changed my life. That gave me the belief that, and he created that story 30 years earlier when my mom was telling him to go get a real job. I'm glad he didn't listen. So it's powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely powerful. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Tommy, for coming on and sharing and giving insight. But more importantly, we were so busy this week that Tommy and I didn't even get to strategize on this call. This is Tommy. This is not rehearsed. This is not, him reading out of a book or doing something. This is who Tommy is. He lives this life. He believes this life. This is what he does day in and day out. And you can call him 5 minutes before a call, and this is literally what you're going to get. You are a phenomenal asset. You're to this company. You're a phenomenal individual and partner, and we just love you with all of our hearts. And me personally, I'm grateful for all that you do for me and mentoring and coaching that you do to help me as well. So thank you so much, Tommy, for being on the call.
I appreciate you, Ryan. You had me nervous at the beginning when you said we had a great call planned. That's about as planned as it gets for me. So he tried, everyone.
No, it was a phenomenal call. So, and for each of you who have dialed in this morning, whether you had to get up early or stay up way late at night, wherever it is you're calling in from, or anywhere in the world, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for not only being here, but for what you do to represent this company. It's because of people like you who lead life with passion in your heart and your soul and your dreams. It's because of you that we are able to change those lives around the world. It's because of you that we've been able to feed nearly 7 million children around the world, starving children in third world countries. It's because of you that we've helped hundreds of thousands of families earn $500 or $1,000 or more in a single month. It's because of you that we've been able to change people's lives with these life-changing products. It's because of you guys that do what you do. And, Joe's really big on the butterfly effect of, what does the ripple effect of one person and how that goes through the organization. Obviously, you get to see that with Tommy and his voice and his mission and what he's been able to do through his career with XanGo. But I want to personally thank each and every one of you as well for all that you guys do on a daily basis. We could not do what we do if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much. Keep leading. You're leading the way. Keep living your life with passion and heart and soul. And like Tommy said, there's never been a better time to dig in, to go and do everything. Like Tommy's calling everybody that, people that he wouldn't have called and maybe his timing wasn't right, but he's calling everybody that he can to introduce them to the new face of XanGo. And I guarantee you that if you do that, you're going to see success, you're going to see growth, you're going to see your life moving forward and all of those wonderful things. So please take a hold of the opportunity. Continue doing what you're doing. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us on the Get Amped call. Tommy, you were absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for all that you do. God bless each and every one of you. Let's make it a great week, and let's get amped. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.